Gilbert, Mr. Gilbert?
Crossing the borders to go out of country to take lives of people. So you can guess why Kizito Mihigo was trying to go out. He failed, or maybe if he was really doing it, but it's very unfortunate. So right now, standing here as a Rwandan, I'm so proud for all the achievements my country has been able to make. And I'm grateful for the good things the current regime has done for my country. So, even though I'm here today, I don't mean that they've done everything wrong. No, they have done some good things. Economic development, as people say, along with, of course, the development partners, the United States of America being the biggest one, and we are so grateful for that. However, when it comes to human rights, the government of President Kagame, we notice several cases of extrajudicial killings and deaths in custody. Kizito Mihigo being a good example for that, but the list is very long. For the last 20 years, the US government and human rights organizations, they described poor conditions of human rights in Rwanda, and they noted disappearances of political dissidents, arbitrary arrests, and of course, and acts of violences, torture, and murders committed by the police. The lack of freedom in Rwanda is not something new. According to The Economist, in 2008, they said, Kagame allows less political space and press freedom at home than Mugabe did in Zimbabwe. That was 2008. And today we are here to talk about the deterioration. So the worsening of human rights conditions. Anyone who may look like a political threat to the regime is dealt with ruthlessly. So now, more than 10 years later, I mean, starting even from the 2008, what do we notice? President Kagame himself said that we are going to raise the cost of anybody who wants to destabilize our country. Let me say this. The cost was already very high. Raising, it was like, people were trying to say, how can they raise that cost, which is already very high? So that was a warning, and allow me just to see a small video to see, ironically, by silencing any dissident voice, the government is pretending to maintain harmony, ethnic harmony. Sometimes ago, under the umbrella of the genocide ideology, we have had laws that was, I can say, to legally silence the opposition, because it's like some kind of speech was equal to genocide ideology. So opponents have been accused of divisionism and inciting, ethnic hatred. In 2010, Rwanda was among 10 lowest ranked countries in the world when it comes to press freedom. Reporters Without Borders stated that Rwanda, Yemen, and Syria have joined Burma and North Korea. A good explanation of what I'm saying. So, because that one actually
the tragedy of genocide, and have continued to play that politics and ideology and They have gone to prison, then they have come out of prison, and for it we have forgiven them, and then they start playing those games again. We will put you where you belong. And those ones who make noises about it, we will see what they will do. Yes, and take those who.
You can see the regime using memories of the genocide to silence opposition and the media. Korea as the most impressive countries. So this drop was caused by suspending, I can say, the main independent press media, like Umuseso and Umufan. The deputy chief editor of an independent newspaper, as mentioned by Adotei, his name was Rugambage Leonard, so that one was killed during that time. So because of that, that's why we dropped and have been among those 10 lowest ranked countries when it comes to the freedom of the press. At this time, I can say the ranking is no longer the same. At this time, it looks better, but guess why? There is nothing at this point to close. Everything to be closed have been closed, and up to now, the self-censorship is very high. The media is saying basically almost nothing, just for their safety. So that's the reason why it's like, the journalists have already learned a lesson, and the outcome is, of course, the lack of information to the people, and you try to report what you think will be pleasing the government decided to withdraw the right of individuals and organizations to file appeals before the African Court on Human and People's Rights. So what does that mean? It was just cutting off access for those who are denied justice by domestic courts. Without justice within the domestic courts, you are not even allowed to go to the African, Human and People's Rights Court, just to bring in your case. 2017, again, what happened? President Kagame was re-elected for the third term in office. He has been in power for the last 26 years, and almost the last 26 years, even though for the first 6 years he was the vice president, but technically he was, the one making the decisions. So, and he's allowed to be in power for the next 14 years. So you can imagine what it means with the current situation. So now, what is the outcome of all of this? In 2019, according to our president, actually it was also part of the video, democracy and human rights are nonsense and luxuries that probably Rwandan people cannot afford. Actually, that was in a couple of interviews. Nonsense, those democracy and human rights. So, and of course people suffer and you can lose lives like the life of Kizito Mihigo. So, now, briefly, what is the current situation for the human rights and what are the main problems we are facing as Rwandans? There is existence of several political prisoners. And again, according to Reporters Without Borders, 2019 Press Freedom Index, self-censorship is commonplace. Journalists being threatened, harassed, and arrested for criticizing the government. They say that the government of Rwanda has never accepted that the press should be granted genuine freedom. So there is that kind of lack of any kind of freedom. No freedom of assembly, no freedom of religion, with more than 7,000 churches closed 2018. More than 7,000 churches. Actually, when I was reading with in Christian Today, they said 8,000 churches. But I've always believed it's more than 7,000 churches, so which means really a very high number. Across the nation, different districts of the country, it's like within Kigali it was several hundreds, but nationwide, more than 7,000 churches closed. And people keep quiet as if nothing happened. They know the cost is very high, the cost of speaking, the cost of complaining, it would be destabilizing national security. So there is a very long list of critics of the Rwandan government, dead or missing. So finally, when it comes to Kizito Mihigo, thank you, Adotei, for saying it very well. Kizito Mihigo survived that genocide at the age of 13. We know him personally. I've been with him several times. Actually, he came to, the first time I met with him, I was in my work with, back in my country, I've been working with the US government. I was in charge of peace building, where I've been working, of justice, peace building, and conflict management. That's why the first time I met Kizito Mihigo, it was just part of my work. But we became friends. So it's like I've just known him as someone doing outreach to prisons, bringing prisoners together, giving them the message. You know, it's like trying to do everything I believed was very important for the Rwandan people. He has been doing that to schools, going out to schools. I've seen him organizing concerts to different churches. And I know, of course, again, I cannot really finish to talk about the long list of things he has been doing, but I can say just his actions speak much louder than my words. And what I can say right now is that Kizito Mihigo has given much to his country, to Rwanda, and we owe him respect for his selfless contributions. Thank you so much.